What's going on, guys? Matt Manduke here, and this is the rental car review of the 2020 Camaro Convertible, which I've had it for 3 days now, 2.5, something. And you can see it for what it is. On the outside, it's a beautiful car. It is peppy. It has all sorts of features, and we're going to go through those features when I get in the car. And one of the main things I want to show you is how the convertible top works and looks. And but the outside of the car, you've seen them on the road, they are pretty cars. And I am also experimenting. This is the first video I've used the Osmo 3 mobile for, so that's kind of like I get a joystick to control how my footage works, and it's supposed to be a lot smoother. But yeah, it's from Connecticut. You can see the front end. It looks a little odd from where the headlights are in front of the grill, but it is also very aggressive looking, and that's the idea. It is HID headlights. They are auto headlights. The side mirrors are small, but I get it. Side mirrors, like, part of this car is it's a performance car. This one is not. Oh, what are we doing, video? This one is not high performance as it is a 6-cylinder, but the 6-cylinder does have more than enough power. You do get some pretty nifty sized brakes, and the rims do show that off. They're not painted, they're not Brembos. It has the Camaro badges. The fuel tank is on the passenger side, which I don't really like that, but it might be to counterbalance the weight of the driver. I don't know. I didn't design the car. Then the back, and that's part of something I want to show you. We're gonna open the trunk. And yes, I have some stuff in here, but you kind of want there to be some stuff in here, right? So you get an idea. Well, behind this compartment here, that's where the top goes. And if you have anything pressing against this compartment when the top is closed and you want to open it, it won't let you. But it's completely automated, so there's, other than hitting a button, there's no work involved. And I'm not entirely sure what this is. In fact, I just noticed it. But I think it's, if you put somebody in the trunk, they can pull this thing to get out. That's kind of what I'm gathering out of it. That it's a trunk release. I don't know, that might be a legal requirement. But from the back of the car, you can see what it is. Now, I do have the seats forward, and that's partially because Casper is involved in this car, and like he gets in the back seat. So that's something that, speaking of Casper, figure out the remote. And this button here is to auto start. You double press the lock and then hold it, and it'll start the car. And then the car has to be running to open the top, but you double press the unlock and press the open the top button, and it'll open the top or close the top. And like I said, the car has to be running to do that. But that's how that works. And originally, because I didn't know you had to do that, I didn't know you could do that. Something that I want to mention with this is that there's no quick release to like put stuff in the back, including like people. No, this car is not designed to have people in the back seat, really, even though it does have a back seat. But you have to use the power control. That's kind of a issue. I get that it's a power seat, but you could have a quick release, because I've had many power seats over the years, and they've all had a quick release. But before I get in the car, because getting in the car, I'm going to show you all the features that it does while it's running. Hold on. Alright, so inside the car, yes, you have to deal with Casper's panning, because he was outside, but people won't like stop parking in this area while I'm outside with my dog, and I don't want I can't pay attention to shooting this video and whether or not they're bothering with him. But okay, so that's the dashboard, and it's exactly what you kind of expect it to be. It's very basic, and when I mean very basic, this car does not have lane keeping. This car does not have active cruise control, and I don't see why they can't have it for what kind of car that it really is. I get it's supposed to be based on a performance model, and this is the 6-cylinder model, but I think they should all have it because every other competitor has it in every car, but apparently Chrysler and GM are sleeping on this technology, and I think that's ridiculous because I've yet to have a GM that has it, and I've only had one Chrysler, and that was a Jeep that I posted a video of. But sleeping on that technology, and that's something you can take off for a track mode. And alright, so I'll zoom out a little bit, and I think I'm actually already zoomed as far out as I can, but if I pull out a little bit, you can see the steering wheel. Steering wheel has paddle shifters on it, and that'll automatically switch it into manual mode, but there is also, on the shifter, there's a manual mode. If you flip that to the side, then it goes to manual mode. Yes, I have my phone holder in front of, and I can pull that off, so you can see these are the AC vents, and they're actually also the controls for the AC system and the fans respectively. And then just above that, that whole line, that's all your climate control stuff. Now from the angle that I sit, I can't see this number, but I know if I want it to be cold or not, and well, I want it to be cold. Then above that, you have your multi-function system. I'm happy that it's a bigger screen than the Jeep had, even though it's a car that is designed to, you know, keep your focus on the road, and it works, and it's fun to drive. That's kind of the big kicker for that. But the screen is tilted down, and that's mostly to keep the sun off of it, so you can still see it during the daytime, which is ideal. There is AC vents on the end, and it's a very classic style system, but it does still have a lot of the new technology. In other words, like I said, it's a 9-speed automatic transmission, which is nice. On the sides of the steering wheel at the bottom, you have your track select and the volume controls. Then above this is like a menu button where you can flip through options. Also, the phone controls are there. The horn's in the middle. That's the horn. That's the first and probably will be the only time I use it. And then the cruise control is here, and it's a very basic cruise control. You turn it on, you set it, you resume or increase speed, and you cancel it. There's nothing else to it, and there's nothing else on the steering wheel. I am happy that GM has switched from doing the one thing that does everything. This one does headlights. I didn't scratch that, but it was just black anyway. It looks like there would be a picture there though, right? This one does headlights, but you pretty much just leave that as auto, but you can also flash your high beams by pulling it back, which that's pretty common. And then the other side is your wipers, and you turn them on by pulling it up, which that's on. The windshield is large, but it's at such an angle that it doesn't seem large. And actually, with the top off, I can stick my head up and see over the windshield, which my mom had a 6-cylinder Firebird that was T-top that was the same way. And I don't expect this to be too much different, but they could make it so the power seat lowers more, because I have plenty of leg room in here, and there's plenty of room to drive it, but I'm 6'4", and with the top on, I don't really fit in the car, and that really limits your want to buy the car if you don't fit in it. And it's weird that you would make a sports car that's not made for a full-grown man. Like, there's a lot of tall men, and I get not all tall men are buying these cars, but you should be making it so it fits all people. And if you're having your midlife crisis and you want to buy a convertible Camaro, it should fit you, because it would be a hell of a crisis that you don't want to drive it unless you can take the top off, if you can't afford to have it as like just a weekend car. Yes, I'm gonna have the air conditioning on, so you're gonna have to deal with the sound of that. Down here you have buttons to turn your traction control off, and you also have this mode select button. Now if I got a joystick to control my phone. If I switch the mode select, it changes on here where it has sport, tour, and snow and ice. I've been keeping it in sport mode, because it does handle a little better and it's more responsive in sport mode. Touring mode is going to be very similar to your regular drive mode, and snow and ice is going to turn off your traction control and like maybe tune the traction control to work better on snow and ice, because snow and ice is particularly difficult for these rear-wheel drive cars, especially like the V8s. But the 6-cylinder does have get up and go. I'm not trying to say that it doesn't have power, because it definitely has more than enough power, and it has more power than any other rental car that I've had. Then the next thing I want to show you inside of here, which is kind of different than other cars, is the window controls. So you have these two buttons, and the left button is the front windows and the right button is the rear windows. Well, it kind of gives you a picture so you know what it is, but you still only have two window switches. Well, I have it on rear. Oh, and I'm going the wrong way. I have it on rear, and I'm going to put that rear window up, which is pulling back on it. But that's all that window is. Now, I like that window because it's cool. You can leave that down when you want the car locked and you have the top up, and you don't have to worry about somebody being able to reach all the way up front to open the door, because that ain't happening. And it's also cool because like it's just perfect for my dog to get his head out of. But that's not the real feature to this car. Actually, none of the stuff that I've shown you is the real feature to the car. Oh, come on. The real feature to the car is that switch right there. And in order to take the top off, oh, and like I was telling you, I hit this button that tells you there's a problem in the back, and that's where that backpack is. And when the top actually goes up and down, it shifts the stuff that's in the trunk. And like you can take that shade down and have more trunk space if you're not going to open the top, which you're going to want to, because you don't have much when you are using the convertible top. It's not a very practical car. It's very hard to get things in and out of the back seat, so you're not going to want to have it with kids. But that has kind of always been the thing, that you don't have small kids and have a Camaro. This is the thing you get after the kids are grown, and you don't need that anymore because it's made to be a two-seater. But let me pause this and deal with the stuff in the back, and I'll open the top. Alright, so you hit this button, and I probably can't move my stuff quick enough, but it puts all the windows down. It opens the rear hatch, slides the glass window that's in the back down, and then the top's open. And that's pretty much all I had to show you on this. Oh, well, I should also mention, and this is something that all car companies seem to slack at, you're not going to fit a 1-liter bottle into these cup holders. Yes, the front one is bigger than the other one. Oh, and I can fit a 1-liter into the front one, but you're not going to fit it in the back. So like your passenger can't have as much water as you do, which that's kind of counterproductive. There is a parking brake release here, and then the center console has 2 USBs in it, but you can see how big that really is. There's not much going on there, and I'm guessing that 9-speed transmission takes up a lot of space. But other than that, I mean, it does have a great sound system, but that's not something I can really show you here because my phone's not going to pick up the audio anywhere near as good as it should. But having the top off, well, it's an experience, and if you've never driven a convertible, it's definitely worth it. I have driven them before, but, well, this one is an experience in itself. And I do recommend, if you're thinking about buying a car like this, you should definitely try to rent it for the weekend, because that'll give you an idea if you fit in it comfortably, if it's something that you're going to do. And when you test drive it, you may not notice all those things, and you can really picture yourself in a car when you rent a car. And it's $200 to rent it for the weekend. Oh, and if you don't finish the procedure, like every little bit, it does give you a message, and it tells you when it's done. But yeah, so like, rent the car for the weekend for $200, and if you can't afford to rent it for $200, you're not going to be able to afford the car anyway. So it is what it is. As always, guys, thanks for watching. I wouldn't do this without you. I'll see all my friends in my next video.